Hey gang, it's Dr. Brenda, sociologist, financial coach, founder of Gutsy Women Finances Community, traveling the country in my RV with my 3 cats. Hey, please subscribe below if you already subscribed. Thank you so much. I am doing a series of tips for new RVers, and this is prompted by my friend who just bought a Class C motorhome and had a lot of questions. I said, hey, just send them my way and I'll do some videos for you. If you have questions, please add them in the comments below and maybe I can answer them for you or add them into another video. So this is part 2, RV lifestyle. Check out part 1, which was on RV maintenance and logistics, and part 3 is going to be for those cat lovers if you're traveling with cats. So let's get right into it and talk about lifestyle. So you know what? Our lifestyle is our lifestyle. It all depends on us, what we want to do with our lives. And, you know, the neat thing about RVing is it takes you away from sort of that humdrum, live in the house type of lifestyle, and you get to choose how you want to spend your days. That is like the coolest thing in the world. Before I forget, I need to tell you that I'm going to have some products in here just to show you what I use, and those are Amazon affiliate links in there. Look in the description. I'm going to give you a link so you can download this document. If you want to click on anything, those links will be clickable. Save you some time here from having to scribble notes while you're taking this. But the question is, what are your priorities? So a lot of my answers are based on my priorities. My priority is one of health and being outside. I am so happy when I am in nature. So that is my priority. I also have a business. So, of course, my priority is to make sure that Dr. Brenda Money Coach, my Gutsy Women Finances Community, my online workshops are all ready to go. And I've got clients and I'm serving folks, but I can schedule my time as I like. So my priorities are really being outside, being healthy, getting the business going, keeping the business going. So think about your priorities. So Erica knows that I do a ton of hiking. I love hiking and I'm working. And so she asked me, what do you do besides hiking and working? That's a really good question because, you know, sometimes the time in the RV, the time just goes really fast. It's like, wow, I can't believe I've did this, and this. And it's like, there's lots to do. So again, my goal is to be active and spend time in nature. I love to kayak. I love to go on little tours. This is a photo of, I rode a ATV in outside of Bryce Canyon in Utah. So I mean, I get horseback riding, you name it. That is the priority for my finances. It's the priority for my life, is to have as many adventures as I possibly can. So I'll kayak, I'll do local tours, I'll do sightseeing, adventures of any kind. I'm inconsistent, but I try to do qigong in the morning, try to have a morning routine that is healthy for me. I love reading murder mysteries, you know, so you give me a good book. That's how I spend my time. The key to me, the biggest difference between RVing and sitting at home at that dining room table working is the flexibility. So I have switched my business around. So I do less individual coaching and I do more group coaching, group workshops, building the community, and that is partly because I can now schedule my time. I don't have to be on a call at 2 p.m. usually, and I can do my calls in the evening. I can work around the weather for the most part, and that's key to what I do. So if I've got bad weather days where I'm kind of inside and it's going to be rainy, I am typically working. And then I've got good weather days. Now the downside is I went through a spurt of like good weather days, like for 2 weeks, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm not getting as much done on my business side as I want to. But I always know that I'm gonna have so like I'm here. It's been rainy, had some thunderstorms. It's too hot and humid. I've had some really good work days, so it tends to even out for me. Do you find local meetups in the areas you visit? So there is this online group called Meetup.com. I used to belong to it, and I used it when I was in Virginia a couple of times. So that is a way to meet up with people. I tend to be on my own for the most part. I also have a friend that will travel with. Some of the campgrounds will be together. So, if you can caravan, you find some people that you like to travel with, it's possible to caravan with other RVers. I have connected with people on Facebook. I've gone into various RV groups, especially in the first year when I was feeling really lonely. I said, hey, I'm in Vermont. Is there anybody here in Vermont who'd like to go hiking? And I did. I found a woman RVer, and she taught me some fly fishing, so that was good. But I want to emphasize, and we're going to go into safety more, but always prioritize your safety. You don't necessarily want to advertise where you are, and that you're alone. So prioritize your safety. And just be smart about how you're trying to find folks to do things with. A lot of times there are people in the campgrounds that you might be able to do some things. Now, I'm solo woman RVer. I don't always run into other solo women, and there are a lot of family units that tend to stick to themselves. But this all depends, again, on your priorities, your lifestyle, your need to be sociable. I would give Meetup.com probably a try if you can, look ahead to see what's going on in your locations. Do you make friends with your RV park neighbors? Oh, boy. That very much depends. How long am I there? So certainly when I'm parked at 3 months at South Padre Island, I get to know my neighbors. They're usually parked there for several months. And there are oftentimes activities. So we did Beachbody together. So you get to know some people through Beachbody. I have a picture here of a kayak because I met someone at 2 parks ago. We were on a ranger-led kayak tour, and turns out we were both, from Wisconsin, and we had something in common, and so we became Facebook friends. So, it's all variable. There are, as a solo woman RVer, sometimes I'm looking out for other campsites, other rigs. I can kind of tell sometimes, oh, that looks like a solo woman RVer. Not everybody's out here because they are having fun and want to socialize. Some people, even solo women RVers, are out here for the solitude, and you kind of pick up that vibe just like you do in the real world. So very much depends. What do you cook? What do you eat? Well, I wish I had a real consistent answer because I'm not always consistent. Now, I will say I do intermittent fasting, so my regular schedule is to eat 1 meal a day, and sometimes I'll have a splurge day every now and then, but I do try to have green drinks and smoothies, especially in the summertime. Wintertime, I tend to lean more towards soups and stews. I try to limit my meals out. I find that I'm spending too much money at restaurants, and the food is usually of pretty low quality, so I'm usually disappointed. So I do try to prepare my own meals. Sometimes I'm just got a craving for a peanut butter sandwich, and that's enough to satisfy me. So it really depends. Cooking is a bit of a problem in the RV, so like right now the AC is going, so I could not use my convection oven because that draws, between the AC and the convection oven, I'm over the 30 amps, my circuit's going to blow. So I can't use my convection oven. I can use my microwave oven. The biggest challenge I have is waste. I have just an RV sized refrigerator and freezer. I'll make something, and I'll end up with maybe 3 or 4 meals out of that food that I've prepared, and I'm refrigerating it, and I'm trying to freeze it. But things get old when you're cooking for one, and you've got small, not much storage space. Boy, that freezer space, I really have to You know, it's like I got to save that room for ice cream in there, but freezer space, I don't have a lot of it. The two things I use the most, and I will say I just added an air fryer. I've only used it once and was not impressed, but I know a lot of people love air fryers. But typically you can run these appliances while the AC is going. I use my Instant Pot, especially in the winter, all of the time. And then I have a little George Foreman grill. It's a smaller one you just use for two people, and I'll grill something on there. And those are the two big things that I use for cooking. Do you recycle? I recycle as much as I can. I have a separate little garbage can up at the front of my, well, in between the two seats, and that's where I put my recyclables. A lot of campgrounds don't offer recycling, so it really varies by the location, but I try to recycle as much as I can. What do you do about your laundry? Good question. Um, actually, some of the state parks provide laundry service, washer and dryer. So that's always a treat for me. And occasionally, I'm at a private RV park, and I'll use their laundry facilities. I've used a lot of laundromats. All of them are easy to use, quick. Actually, when I'm winter at South Padre Island, I use laundromats there. So no big deal for me. I use the sink and dry things outside if it's like I'm going through a lot of clothes and it's really hot and sweaty. And the other thing I do is I buy really quick dry clothes. So I might wash something in the sink here and then put it on the back of my chair, sitting outside in the catio, let it dry by itself. But don't be. It's really no big deal. You figure it out. You look ahead to see when you might have a laundromat available, washer dryer, and sometimes you wait till you run out of underwear, folks. I mean that's you reuse some of these clothes. Your probably fastidiousness for clean clothing goes down a little notch, but no big deal. What sorts of things do you use for safety and security? This is actually, I'm going to give you lengthy answers for this. Now, I did a video a while back featuring Becky Mossbrucker, and she provided some safety tips and showed us, how to use pepper spray properly. And so, go ahead and check out that video. The things that I can say are absolutely critical is be aware of your surroundings. Always be aware of where you are, what's going on, how to exit quickly if you need to exit quickly, where the danger points might be. Trust your instincts. This is what lets women down. They're like, am I just being paranoid? If you're feeling unsafe, move to a different campground. Take some precautions, do whatever you need to do, but trust your instincts. And then always let someone know where you are. This is especially critical if you are hiking, but certainly you move to a different campground. Let somebody know where you are so that at least they can check in on you. If nobody hears from you for a while, have a buddy that has your contact information, your emergency contact information. So let someone know where you are. Now, I don't carry a gun. I'm not trained in how to use a gun. I'm not comfortable around guns. I know that other women do use guns, and that's up to you. But I don't. And so the non-lethal tools, I wanted to make sure that you remembered your self-defense moves. I just saw something the other day that one of the strongest points in your body is the elbow. So if you can elbow somebody, use that, but learn some self-defense moves. I used to do karate, and so I kind of remember some of the things. Would I be able to do that? I'm hoping I would. It's another reason to be fit. Now, lots and lots of tools, so I'm going to talk a little bit about what I have. I've got a striking tool. So this is a point, and I can just, strike somebody with it if I need to. I do have pepper spray. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I actually have a lot of pepper spray. I've got pepper spray sitting in the cab. I've got pepper spray in my pouch. I've got pepper spray in my bedroom. I mean, you can get some pepper spray. This is a small, compact pepper spray that easily fits into my pouch. And just know how to use it. Make sure that it's in the lock position when you're not using it. I have a stun gun right now. I mean, making this presentation reminded me I probably should check to see if it's charged. So it's back there charging now. I keep it by my bedroom. It's sort of a last resort type of thing. If somebody were to break into my RV and were close to me, I don't carry it that much. And I just added, I found this at a store. It's where they had a lot of jogging, running stuff, and this is an alarm. So I would have to pull this pin off and an alarm would go. And I got to tell you what, it took me about half an hour to find this. I bought it a couple of states ago, and I couldn't remember where I put it and couldn't find it. So, lesson to you is make sure you can access it. Now, I was in a situation in Texas where I actually had a group of young men, two guys were fighting, and one of them bounced off of my car. And the police came right away, but it was kind of scary. And I'm like, okay, I got to make sure I can grab this pepper spray in case I need it. So just, you don't have to have everything. If you're out walking alone, hiking alone, have a weapon easily on hand, whatever you're comfortable with. For me, I typically have the pepper spray. Also, I can, put it on my waist pack. So just pick a couple of tools and go with it. We talk about safety, and I really want to emphasize your safety and how to get help when you need it and the use of technology. So I have a Ring stick-up camera, and unfortunately I don't have Wi-Fi anymore, so I haven't been able to use it. But if you've got Wi-Fi, I had that outside on my rig, so it's a motion detector. When something would go on, I would get notified, and I could see that from anywhere. As long as I had cell service, I could see if someone was trying to break into my rig, if there was something going on around my rig. I could speak through my app, so that was a good tool. The other thing I have, it's my day for charging, so I'm charging all this stuff. But I have this. It's a satellite device. So if you're off grid, I keep this in my hiking pack. And so if I can't get cell service, I don't have Wi-Fi, there is an SOS button on here. Now you can use it to connect with a couple of people and just say, hey, I could use some help. It's not an emergency, but can you send somebody to my location? It's powering off. So yeah, just make sure that these things are charged. If they're not charged, they're not useful. So this is especially true if you hike alone and something happens to you. You just get injured, you fall, you need help. You've got a way to get help. There's a price tag to all of these, but what's the price tag for your life? That's the way I look at it. And a couple of other things that I just want to show you. So I've got this wristband. This is called a Road ID. And I have my information and my emergency contact information. So when I go hiking, and I should wear this more often, but I keep this on my wrist. So if something happens and someone finds me, they've got this contact information. I also talked about leaving a piece of paper in my backpack to notify folks I'm in this campground, I'm at this site, I got cats, they need to be taken care of. I've kept this in my hiking pack forever. Never used it. It's just a little all-purpose tool, and again, it's I haven't used it, haven't needed to, but it's good to have. And then I also have bear spray on my pack, so I've got that. Also, there's a whistle that I have in my hiking pack. So there are so many things that you can do for your safety. But I'm going to back up to this issue of quick access, because if you go all into all of these things, you're going to be fumbling around. Where did I put this? Where did I put that? When you need it, you're not going to be able to use it. So pick your favorite weapon of choice, or two. I mean, for me, these two things are my biggies. It's the stun gun and it's the striking tool that I try to keep in my hiking pack all the time. And that's, you want to enjoy yourself. You don't want to be looking around every corner, listening to think somebody's jumping up on you. So you got to balance out, how your safety needs, your real concerns, with your having fun. What sort of RV memberships do you use? So I use Good Sam, and then I'm a member of Escapees, also Escapers. Escapers is now an offshoot of Escapees, and Escapers is for those who are working from the road. There are some discounts, and they have the Escapees has annual conventions and gatherings. I haven't been to any yet because I plan so far ahead that I usually don't know where their events are. The things that I don't use that my friend asked me in particular about Thousand Trails, I looked into Thousand Trails, did some research, and it's like everybody's paying a different price. There was just no transparency. I didn't feel comfortable with the way they set up their company. And the lack of transparency, why are 5 people paying 5 different things to essentially get the same thing, 5 different prices, it just didn't make sense to me. Plus, my preference is the state parks, national parks, Corps of Engineer campgrounds, so I'm not that interested in staying at a private resort. Some people have had great success with it. It just didn't fit my lifestyle. Passport America, I did belong to that. They actually got political as the last election rolled around, and they did some really bone-assed things, and I think they lost a lot of members, including myself, because they became political, and I don't join an RV group so that you can advertise political things to me. So, yeah. Harvest House, I belonged for the first year, and I did have a whole nother video on 3 reasons why I left, but it's just wasn't using it, not convenient, and just kind of stressful for me. So the 2 that I've really stuck with is Good Sam, primarily for the discounts, and the Escapees group. But there are more and more groups out there. Just, give it a try it for a year, see if you use it. And if they tick you off for some reason, don't be afraid to cancel your membership. Do you buy bottled drinking water? You know what? When I first started, I was a bit paranoid about the water, and I drank almost exclusively bottled water. And since then, I'm like, I'm usually hooked up to the water here. Almost always have water hookups, and I have in the trunk of my RV, I have this permanent filter system, so I use Clear Source Premium RV water filter system. Again, these are all linked in the document, so if you can get to those those are my Amazon affiliate links. And then the other thing I added to my repertoire is the Life Straw. So I will fill up the Life Straw bottle from my faucet and put it in the refrigerator, and then pour that into a cup. That gives me nice, cool water, and I'm minimizing my water bottle usage. I could still do a little bit better in that department, but that is what I do. Do you buy firewood at the campground? It depends. Sometimes, a lot of times, the firewood at the campground is bad. But it all depends. I've had really good firewood, but a lot of times I've had wet firewood that just creates smoke and doesn't even really burn. So I often have better success getting firewood outside of the campground. Now, a lot of places you can't have campfires, so check the conditions. Out west where you've got wildfires for the most part, most campgrounds you cannot have campfires. But get a bundle. If it lights up and does well, then you can go back and get some more bundles. But I've not had real good success. If you're ask somebody at the campground. Sometimes the camp host can tell you, but a lot of times they're the ones selling the firewood. I've asked, is this dry firewood? They've told me yes, it was not. So that's variable. How much TV do you watch? Do you watch local channels? Any subscription services? I don't watch TV now. I got to admit, my voice is a little hoarse. I'm coming at the back end of COVID. I hope I'm at the back end. And I've had to watch more TV because my energy's been real down this week. And I couldn't even read a book because that would take too much energy. So this has been a very unusual week, but usually I don't watch TV hardly at all. Now I do have an antenna. In fact, I had to replace it over the winter because I think the RV wash guys broke it off, but I have an antenna, so that's how I pick up the local channels. Also, a note is that when you are in inclement weather, especially the hurricane notices and probably the tornado, but especially the hurricane notices, the local TV gives you better information than what you can often find on the internet. So it is good to get your TV working. I actually have 2 TVs in this RV. There's one in the main coach and one in the bedroom. I think I tested the one in the bedroom. I've never used it. In my whole house, I only have 1 TV. So I have more TVs here than I did in my house. So I'm not a TV watcher. I've just looked at all my subscriptions, and I'm down to just Netflix. It's the only one that's worth it to me. And a lot of times now, because I don't have my Wi-Fi system, what I have been doing is if I've got good cell service, I can put Netflix onto my laptop, and I use an HDMI cable to go from my laptop to the back of the TV, and that's oftentimes sufficient enough for me to be able to watch Netflix through my hotspots. I do a lot of streaming music, so one of the things I added to my RV is a sound bar. It goes right out underneath my TV. And from there, I use Pandora, and I'll stream using Bluetooth to that soundbar. So that's about it for my entertainment. Wow. Okay, lots of lifestyle questions. If you've got questions, ask them below in the comments. Again, look at this document for those resources and those links. And really encourage you to pick up the Camper Superwoman Journal or the RV Superwoman Journal. You're going to get a chance to write about your lifestyle and really think about how you want your life to be as you go into this marvelous RV life. All right. Hey, hope to see you in a campground sometimes, and don't forget to subscribe below. It's been fun. Till next time, and stay tuned for part 3 if you've got cats.